last week. And it wasn't starting. It actually came up over here as live. Hey, there we are. Good morning. I'm sorry if you've been sitting on here for a while and it's been like messing up because we're just trying to get everything started and going. I'm just gonna make sure I share this to a couple places. Good morning. So my name is Siepierski. I run and own Aaron's Estate Sales in Birmingham, Michigan. Today I have a very special guest. Every Sunday morning we do a show on estate sales basically. We show you the behind the scenes, what we do, how we help our clients, how we operate, our different strategies and techniques. And today I have a guest. So I would love to introduce with you Shannon Smitts. And Shannon, can you tell us who you are?
Yeah, for sure. I am Shannon Smitts. I run the production division at Aaron's Estate Sales. I've been here about 3.5 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Shannon, how did you get here? Like, how did you end up being the production director of Aaron's Estate Sales?
Okay. So when I was 13 years old, my mom took me to my first estate sale. It was over on Vincetta in Royal Oak. It was super cool to be able to go into one of those houses that, the closest I'd ever gotten to the front door was trick-or-treating. And so it was cool to be able to go inside, and I started my hat collection then. And
wow, a hat collection? Was that the first thing you collected?
It was, yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, antique hats. After that, I always went to estate sales. When I was in college, I loved going to the ones in University District of Palmer. And then about 6-7 years ago, I met this one and was shopping at sales, really liked the way you did business. And then when you had the now hiring sign up, I jumped on that.
Yes.
And I've been here ever since.
Yeah, thank you so much. I've known Shannon now, I think you just said 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, and that's super awesome. She was a customer and really loved going to our estate sales. And then all of a sudden it just blossomed into a great relationship when we were hiring and looking for specific team members. Shannon came here and she started just working on the estate sales, and then over time took over, learned more and more and more, and now is our production director. Can you tell them what is a production director? What does that mean in our business?
So for us, a production director, like the thing that we produce is, a really quality estate sale for both our clients and our customers. And in my job, I oversee everything from after the contract is signed, making sure that it's executed on and the setup and the pricing, and then running a really great estate sale for that client and for our customers.
That's awesome, yeah. So Shannon handles it from the beginning to the end, the actual estate sale process. That's our production division, and that's just one section of our entire business, is the making sure that the production, the producing the product, which is a great estate sale for our clients and customers, is handled correctly, on time, with the correct amount of effort. So that's awesome. What is usually, when you're working for Aaron's Estate Sales, what is your first thing that you do for an estate sale?
Yeah, the first thing that I do is that I go out on what we call a scope appointment. And the scope appointment is sort of an exploratory kind of process, as well as a time to touch in with the client and make sure that the relationship is really good and solid. I get in there, I introduce myself, I do a walkthrough with the clients, sort of walk through the house, gauge where they're at in their moving process, what they intend to take, what they intend to leave, and just make sure that everything that's understood by our company is also understood in the same way by the client, really executing upon that contract.
Yeah, that's awesome. And when you go into the home after you've gone on that appointment, the next thing I think is that you bring your team in there and handle the entire estate sale process.
Yeah.
Is that correct? So what is the first thing, what happens when your team actually goes into the home?
Yeah, so on that scope appointment, I'm able to see how many people I need to get the job done efficiently. We get in there on a Monday morning after we have our success meeting at the shop, and we head out there. We get into that house, we do a walkthrough as a team, really get to know the lay of the land inside the house. From there we establish what would be the best place to do a cash out? It's a really important part of the estate sale process that if you don't have a good cash out system, it is going to be a nightmare for you, your team, your customers, everything.
Yeah,
so we want to make sure that we've got like a big space. You can put out a good amount of tables, shelves for holding, and then we go through the rest of the house once we get that established and just get stuff up, like kind of quality things together. Make sure that you've got your higher dollar value items right at that eye level. Anything that's really high dollar and small needs to be a cash out, and just set it up with a boutique type of aesthetic and really honor the people who lived in the house.
That's awesome. That's super awesome. I'm actually going to step away. I forgot to do one thing, but I want you to tell them how you manage a team going through a house and what is super important, because you usually set up and price a house in like a day to a day and a half. Complete 50 to 80 years of belongings that you go through, and you touch every single item, and you make sure that you go through every inch of a home. How do you do that? That's what I want to know, but you answer that and I'll be right back.
All right, sounds good. I ask myself that question pretty much every single week. How are we going to do this? And we do it every single week. The really big thing is sticking together as a team. There's so much randomity that goes into dealing with 80 years worth of things. And when you're setting up 3 sales a week, you're essentially dealing with 160, or what would that be, 240 years worth of things. It's a lot of randomity. So we stay together as a team. We work through each room systematically. We go through every little cupboard, every box, get all the wrapping off it, get it so that people can see it. The other kind of flip side of that is also maintaining the team, because we do come into houses with such cool stuff. You have to tone down your appreciation of the cool while you're doing the setup. That's probably the hardest thing that everybody has, because you'll find like we've had clients from anywhere from like the Playboy Bunny house. Like there was such cool to pick up bunny.
And what is a Playboy Bunny house? I'm sorry.
So
to be clear,
we had a very cool estate back a couple years ago where the lady of the house was one of the bunnies back in the day at one of the Playboy clubs.
Gotcha.
And so we pull out this box, and there's the pink ears, and there's the bunny tail, and it's so darn cool because you've seen it in magazines, you've seen it on like Girls Next Door, stuff like that.
Right.
But to have it in your hands, but still know that you have to get a job done.
That's right.
It's like, all right, this is awesome. I really appreciate it. Put it down, display it, let's go.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we were talking about this next question before we started, and I told you that I never know what to tell people because there's so much in this one question that we always get, because there's so much difference in there's so much that we find every week, every day. So many cool things. I mean, from last week, we're in Grandma's trunk in this basement, and we pull out World War II, naval cold masks that looked incredibly scary.
Yes.
We were like, what are these? What is this? But I just realized, and I'm going to answer the question first, and then I would like to ask you.
Yeah.
But the question that we always get is, what is the coolest thing that you've found in an estate sale? What is the coolest thing? And the answer is endless, because there's just so many. But as you were just saying that, I realized that one time I was in a basement. It was in Bloomfield Hills. It was a condo. Nothing super exciting about this. And in the rafters, it was either rafters or like one of those metal cabinets, I pull out this samurai sword. And I knew it was old. I'd never touched a samurai sword before, like a real samurai sword. But I could tell the quality from it. And as I looked at it more and more, I saw that it was like wrapped eel skin. So it was eel skin that had a spider carved out of it, and then it was wrapped in this amazing wrapping, and it was just incredible. It ended up being from the 1700s, and it's one of my favorite pieces. I took the most amazing photos of it, and I really ended up learning all about samurai swords at that point. I have books on it. I've always had books on military items, and I do have a samurai sword book that has signatures and things like that, because you have to unwrap them and take the handle off to see if there's a signature. And so that was one of the coolest things for me, to actually finally come into one and be able to, and just hold it in my hands, that history.
Yeah.
So what is so going back to the question, what is your coolest find? What's the coolest thing you've ever found, or the coolest story?
The coolest find, coolest story. Yeah, there are so many of them. The one cool one that always comes up is like finding coins. Finding coins is always cool because there's, for one, that like undeniable weight. And like to be able to hold something of incredible weight, and it's always in like a bag that you can't see what's inside of it. Yeah. And so you just hold it and you hear that little clink, clink, and you just hope and pray that that's like solid silver or preferably solid gold.
Solid gold would be a lot better. It never happens to be solid gold on those things when we find those bags or those coins, unfortunately. Yeah. But why don't you tell the story of coins that me and you found in a home, and I believe it was Dearborn.
I think you're right about that. Yeah, we were. I think it was one of my first scopes, or it was a scope that you accompanied me on, just so we could get like an idea of what was in the house. And we're getting through like, I think it was like an attic access almost. It was a really odd little like slanted roof. You had to like sort of shimmy in there, and there was a wooden box. And I went to go pick it up to hand it to Aaron, and I couldn't pick it up.
Yeah.
And you got a little giddy.
I was like, grab it, get it, let's get it out of there.
And so slid the top open, and it's just bag upon bag of silver coins. Yeah. Do you remember what the value on those ended up being?
Yeah, so what we did was we brought out all these bags of silver coins. It was all in bank bags from like the 50s and 60s. So they'd been back there for 50 or 60 years. And so what we did was we took them to auction for our client. You know, they also had a ton of jewelry. I remember the coins being about $15,000 in silver coins. So there was a ton of them. And then the jewelry was like another $5,000 or $8,000 on top of that. And we were able to take those to auction, not just leave them in an estate sale, which was a huge service and a huge bonus for our clients, because then we had a worldwide market for these coins instead of just putting them on a table. So that was really cool. One of the services, you know, just as I was thinking about it, if you or someone you know needs an estate sale, you know, tell them to go to aaronsestatesales.com or call us at 248-915-8888. We'd love to help. We'd love to just give you our advice and see what we can do for you. So
if I can piggyback off of that, that actually reminded me of something as well. Another cool thing that I found. It was actually one of my mom's friends, one of her referrals that came through, just family and friends type of situation. Huh. But they had went through the house and they said, you know, we've got beautiful clothes, we got beautiful furniture. We already went through the jewelry. There's nothing that you have to worry about there. We already went through it.
Oh yeah, I remember that house. Is that the Sterling Heights house?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
And so it was really cool to do. We don't leave any stone unturned. We don't leave any money on the table. Right. We check everything. And going through that jewelry box, 18 karat gold Gumps ring, and just some really amazing jewelry came out of that house. Some beautiful lapis pieces. So that was really cool to be able to go through there and be able to do that due diligence and use that trained eye that we have.
Yeah, totally. In that piece, there was one piece that was like that big. It was a Gumps necklace, lapis, all like surrounded with 18 karat gold. Beautiful piece, just gorgeous. And yeah, they were like, oh, we're done. There's nothing left in there. There's nothing good in there. And that's why it's really important to have a team come out and see what's in a house. I'm trying to think of other cool finds. I remember one of the very first sales I did. It was a sale that I held on New Year's Day. So we were the only estate sale in town. We had about 500 people waiting out front. And in this attic was tons of toys. There was toys upon toys, all from the 50s and 60s. There was 3 boys. The guy was actually the mayor of Southfield at some point. And this was his 3 children. And there was all these toys. They were incredible. And I had a little bit of experience with toys, but this gave me a ton of experience because we had to research every single thing. And going through there was this bicycle that was just in pieces. It had like a piece over here, a piece over there. And right before the estate sale, I get a call and somebody's like, hey, how much is that bike? And we were like, oh, we haven't really priced it yet. But just that call made me kind of look at it once again and take another look at it. And it ended up, in the pieces it was in, selling for like $600 or $800, just as it was. And somebody would have sold that or put it out at the trash. Yep. Type of deal. So that happens all the time. What's the next coolest thing that you found?
So the next coolest thing I found. So it's everything that I found after I found my big auction piece.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you tell them about the auction piece? Because I know you didn't find this at an estate sale, but tell them the service that what we were able to do with it.
Yeah, so I was on one of the third mention of scope appointments. I was coming back from a scope
so
appointment.
you're trying to say that I was paid?
I punched out for this one.
Cool.
So, we love this type of stuff. We would stop in at the thrift stores. You test your eye.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good practice to get into too, is just pop in and see if you can spot from across the room, see if you can find Waterford from far away.
Yeah.
That type of thing. So I'm testing my eye to Goodwill. It's out in Canton.
I was gonna say,
Anybody
where
wants to
was
check
the
it out.
Goodwill?
It was a Goodwill in Canton.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That Goodwill will no longer be good. It's been blown up now.
Yeah.
So I walk in, I look across the room, and I see this pot. I'm like, okay, that could be a home goods reproduction, but let's test it out. It looks special. So I walk over to it, flip it over. I can see that there's a decent ingrained etch on it, and I'm like, but it's got the little tag over the top of it. I don't want to screw up my karma, so I don't peel off the tag. I stand there and I'm like, do I want to spend $3 on something that's, it's a gamble?
Yeah.
And
$3.
I'm tight with my money.
All right.
And so over the loudspeaker, they start announcing, they're like, all right, everything is 50% off. I'm like, all right, $1.50 I can do. So I get out in the car, I peel off that tag because now it's mine. I'm not going to screw up my karma. And I start researching it, and I call up Aaron, or I texted you a picture of it, and I don't know if you remember.
You texted me the Worth Point photos of auction results for this piece, is what you texted me.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the auction results like?
They went anywhere from $1,200 up to $6,000.
Yeah, that was crazy for this one vase. And so what happened? What did you do next?
So I knew that it was nothing that I trusted myself or my cat around. So
you gave it to me. I
went
appreciate
straight
that.
to the
I
office.
appreciate that.
Yeah, so I put it through Black Auction House. Through the research process, we discovered that it was Helen Shupla, who is a Puebla artist who uses Hopi clays. That's how you get to do these beautiful melon jars, because you can actually form the jar from inside out.
Interesting.
And you guys did the research on it, got it so well listed, put it through the auction.
Yeah.
I did not clerk that auction.
That's
I
good.
sat back at home, nervously watching it.
Yeah.
And
what did it sell for? This you paid how much?
$1.50.
And how much did it sell for at our auction?
Hammer price $2,000.
$2,000. Now that's a decent day at the office.
It is.
And I remember it sat in the office for a month or two, or several months, because we didn't have an auction to put it in yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just sitting there, and every day it decreased in value in my mind, because I'm like, it's just that bowl that's sitting over there. It's nothing important. And then when we finally got it listed and we finally got it up, it was beautiful and it went really crazy. So well done on that.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we were texting back and forth while it was going on.
I was running the auction. I was like, gotta go. And then
Give me all the money, I think was all I texted.
Yeah. That was cool. I was thinking about a time, and then when you started going, it erased my memory on it. But we had one sale several years ago, and it took us a month to do the setup. And this isn't usually what we talk about on the Sundays. We're going to actually do another show, just so you guys know. Every Wednesday is going to be Shannon Talks Estate Sales, or whatever it's going to be called. That's not what it has to be. But every Wednesday we're going to do this with Shannon, and we're going to create a show for every single day of the week. Sunday is going to be my day to talk to my clients and to talk with people about how our business works. But I just wanted to bring up a sale that we did a couple years ago now, and it took us a month to actually do all the setup, pricing, barcoding, and do you remember which sale I'm trying to talk about?
Metamora?
Yes, so Metamora. So we did this sale, and really the story is that my mom, who works for us, who does our incoming phone calls, Karen, she took this phone call and it was all the way in Metamora, and she's like, I don't know if I want to send Aaron way out there. So they're like, I think you might want to send him. So she's like, fine, let's do this. And so I go out there to this home. It's a castle. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. It's one of the best, looking properties that I've ever been on. And we go into this house, and I go do the walkthrough, and I'm just like, there's undeniable, incredible value here. I don't know how to put a number. To put a number would be extremely irresponsible. I might have put a number, and I might have even told them like 50 to 75,000 or something, just because I knew there was so much value. But you never know, and this is what people ask at every appointment: is what is my home? What is it worth? And the question is, it's not worth anything until we're actually selling it and people show up to buy it, and we have to do all the processes to get to that point. So it's really difficult to put a value on an estate until we're there selling it, because the traffic could be amazing, the traffic could be super slow, no matter what you have. And so we're doing the setup, we're doing the sale, and everything that we're researching is worth a ton of money. From like there's these little foxes that are like this big. They're like $3,000 each. There's every wine glass is $600 each, and there's 50 of them.
The dog bed steps.
The dog bed steps, that was the one that blew my mind. I couldn't even live after seeing these bed steps to the dog. For the dog to get into a bed, it wasn't in the master bedroom, it was in like the side bedroom. And the dog steps, what were those worth online?
So I believe that they were Scully and Scully or Maitland Smith.
Yeah, they were Scully and Scully, and I believe that the price tag on them was several $1,000
yes.
for these dog steps. Every single, there was 10 bathrooms, and every bathroom had a trash can, a soap dish, a toothbrush holder. That was pretty much it. And that set of 3, basically the trash can was worth about $1,000. The toothbrush holder was worth about $600, and the soap dish holder was worth about $800 in every single bathroom. So every single piece of product, every single linen, every single, like, I don't even know, it could be a whatever you call it, a coaster.
Yeah.
Everything was worth money in there. So we had to barcode the whole place. And that's one of the features that we have at Aaron's Estate Sales, is that we can barcode an entire property when it, if it's worthwhile. So on certain estates, we do the barcoding. Barcoding is huge. That is one of the most value, full services that we provide, because when everything is barcoded, people don't haggle as much, they spend more, they just go through and they buy. And then at the register, when we're checking them out, scan, get them out the door. When other estate sale companies or other estate sales are just, trying to add up all the totals by hand or things like that. So barcoding is huge for us. But we did a month-long setup. That's huge, to send a whole team out to Metabora for a month. That job costed us, because I broke it down, I had dinner with the client afterwards, and she was like, did you make money? And I was like, we about doubled to tripled our money. And she was super happy that we were able to make money on it. And that sale costed us about $25,000 to do, just for one sale, just in our cost. And so for that sale to end up making, what did it make? It was 260,000.
260. I always say 290 for some reason.
I really want it to be 290, so it made $260,000 in 4 days. And at the end of each day, we were sitting there around a table and we were calling all the offers. So the client would go get us food, and all of our staff were just sitting there calling, hey, we're going to take your offer for $5,000 on this sculpture. Hey, we're going to take your offer for $10,000 on this rug. Like, let's do it, and let's take the transactions. We're sitting there ringing these transactions.
We had a dedicated shipper on site as well.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, so
shout out Pack Mail to Pier.
Yeah. So any size estate, like, we'll take care of, and we literally do sales that make $5,000, and we do sales that'll make $300,000, and be able to hand them with ease and perfectly. Hello, Lee. You were supposed to be here this week.
Come on, Lee.
Lee is one of those guys that also barcodes. There's only about 4 of us in the whole country that do barcoding. And Lee Parson with Aether Estate Sales. Is that you? Who is that?
That's not me.
That's so weird. I wonder if someone else has signed into our account. Probably Karen. All right. Well, barcoding is the best. So yeah, so basically any kind of estate sale, any size estate sale, if you or you know someone that needs an estate sale, I would have them call 248-915-8888, And then also go to aaronsestatesales.com. You can follow us on Facebook. Obviously, some of you may be watching this on Facebook. Some of you may be watching on YouTube, Periscope. I know we're on Instagram today. So we're on every single platform this morning to bring you this content. We want to keep giving you data. So if you have questions for us or you want to know something about an estate sale, hit us with an email or a DM, and we would love to address it on the show. Also, what was I going to say? Oh yeah. Also follow my personal Instagram, which is Aaron Siepierski. We're really building that out right now and delivering a ton of great content estate sale wise through there. And Shannon, where can they find you?
I am on Instagram as Je suis une Shan.
Oh.
In the French, I am a little Shan.
All right, cool. Because everyone's gonna be
I
able to
know.
find that.
It's JESUISUNESHAN.
If you get a follower off of that, let me know.
I'll
Because
get your residuals, don't worry.
I was gonna ask as we're starting to close out. We have several more minutes, but I was gonna ask, what is your favorite part about doing estate sales? Like that's your job. That's what you do every single day, right?
Yeah.
And we make sure we fill up every single day. But
It's Sunday, guys.
it is Sunday. That's right. Welcome. Yep.
I'd say like for me it's a humongous pride point doing this work. Like I just know the service that we offer, and I know it from being able to deliver the service and also using the service. When I moved, to be able to hand you guys the keys and just be like, I don't want to deal with this stuff anymore. Because at some point, we buy these objects to enhance our quality of life. Yeah. We buy them to make life easier, to make life more fun, all those different things. But at some point, stuff becomes stuff. Yeah. And it's really good to be able to free people up of this stuff so that they can deal with the important stuff when they're going through transition.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, 100%. That's one of the things that I really love about doing estate sales as well, is first being able to help a family through a situation. They're usually overburdened. They usually are tired of dealing with it. They've been dealing with it for months or years with the situation, and the stuff becomes so heavy and it becomes so burdensome. So for our team to walk in and we can just clear the house and we can handle it with ease and we can handle it in a week as well is huge, because then we're actually helping these people. We're doing something that matters. Same thing on the estate sale side with our, with all the people that shop at our estate sales. Like you said, people buy things, and when we essentially looked at why do people buy things, what is the mindset around why people buy things, and what we saw was that people want to buy things that will improve their quality of life. When I'm looking at buying something, a car or something, and different things, I get excited because I feel like it's going to improve my quality of life. I'm going to be comfortable. I'm going to be, and even if it's just a blanket or a pen or a pad of paper or a coffee cup or a pot or pan or whatever else you can find at these estate sales, furniture,
a bottle of Windex.
A bottle of Windex. All of these things are going to help people. So it's our job to make sure that they get them, and our job to make sure that they purchase them. So our staff are on sales training every single day that they work for us. They have to do sales training so that when we do go into a home, we're actually trained on executing on that contract. And I don't think anybody in our industry spends enough time on training their staff for sales, because it is a sales role. The only reason why a client hires us, and this is one thing that it took me a while to realize, but the only reason why they hire us is to make them money or get rid of a problem. And both of them are a problem. Money is a problem, or getting rid of the stuff is a problem. But it's a huge thing to be able to tell our staff, like, the reason why we are here is to make them money. If you come into our staff and you have a problem with money or a problem with thinking about money, it just doesn't work, because we have to be focused on getting the most value for our clients. So I know that was a really long answer to the question of, do you like doing this job or something? And that's my answer.
Yeah, it's a good answer.
Is that I do love it. And thank you guys so much. Do you have anything else that you think they should know about?
The one thing that kind of sticks in my mind is I know when I first started shopping estate sales that it was typically it was the true estate, or whatever you want to call it, where someone had passed. That was the only transition that people
Yeah.
were doing estate sales for. They weren't even doing them for snowbird downsizings, anything like that. Estate sales are for everyone. Like I'll say to people, they're like, "Oh, I should have one of these sales," when they're walking through the sale. And I said, "You can have one now."
Yep.
I'm too
Absolutely.
young. I had my first estate sale when I was.
You are also a collector of stuff. So.
That is another reason to have an estate sale, though.
No,
The first
I
estate sale
agree.
was too much stuff
That's right.
at 33, and
That's
then
right.
I'm a really good shopper of Aaron's estate sales.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then when I moved, I still had too much stuff.
Yeah. So and it's actually, that's one thing that we end up doing a lot, is a lot of the people that shop our estate sales end up becoming our clients. Not necessarily, I mean, it could be because we're so good at selling them stuff that then they end up with too much stuff. But I think it's more so because when they come to our sales, they see our staff, they see the liveliness, they see the care, the wanting to help. And so when they have a family member with a situation, they hire us, and that's super, super helpful. And super appreciated for people, but yeah, anybody can have an estate sale. The one thing that we require to be able to have an estate sale is that no one's living in the home, and that everything in the home is for sale, period. And so if people still have items that they're like, oh, I don't want to sell these, usually if you can find a locked space in the home to keep them, that's also fine. But it's super important because when our team comes in, and then when 500 estate sale shoppers come in, everything you can see or touch has to be for sale. It's a massive, it's our only rule. It's our only rule to be able to have an estate sale, is just have everything that's not for sale out. And then also, what she said about everyone can have an estate sale. So we do a ton of downsizing sales. Someone's been in a home for 20, 30 years. They're going to Florida. They're going to a different state. They're going to Turkey, different places that we've dealt with, and they need to have an estate sale. So we definitely help with that as well, for sure. So there's a lot of great comments on here. There's a lot of amazing people. I thank you guys for joining us. If you are watching this still, or if you watch this again and you get to this point and I say this, please do it. Share it with your friends. Press the share button, press the like button, press the love button, comment, say hi to us. If you guys have any questions, you can even just enter them in here on the comments and we'll answer them for you. We want to show you who we are. We want to show you what we do, who our team is, what they do, how they work with our clients and customers, the care we have for our clients and customers when we're going through a home, and anything that you want to know, we're going to show you. So we look forward to having you again. Anything else you want to mention?
No, just thanks. Oh, you know what?
What's that?
12 to 2 today. We've got a bag sale blowout
Yeah, we do.
in West Bloomfield.
Yeah, we do.
Lone Pine and Inkster, 12 to 2.
Long Pine and Inkster. So sometimes at the end of these sales, if there's still a lot left, we will do a, hey, everything must go type of sale. And so that's what we're doing this afternoon. So yeah, it's no rest. We're just going to go. We're trying to take this right now. We're doing 2 to 3 sales every single week by January. And that's
Just a small
it'll
little
be all
window.
right. It'll be all right. So very soon here, we want to go to 10 estate sales a week. And that's our goal, is to do 10 sales a week every single week in 2020. And we want to go from 100 estate sales a year. It's really like 125-ish, but we want to go from that to 1,000 is our goal. So that's why we're doing this, because we can't do that if people don't know who we are. If people don't know what we're doing, what we're up to, the behind the scenes, we want to show them everything, so that when you or someone needs an estate sale, they'll go to aaronsestatesales.com or call 248-915-8888. And that's what I got for today. Please enjoy your Sunday. We ran a little bit over. We're trying to keep this one to about 30 minutes. We are going to do some hour-long shows. We're going to do shows on Wednesday with Shannon. We're going to do shows every other day of the week coming up pretty soon as well. And we look forward to having you on this journey. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
So Instagram's still running.